Be me. Have an inflation kink. Go to the store. See that bread has risen by 50 cents in price. Be so hard I can't walk straight. Welcome to the fucking Juicy Group podcast.
Oh man.
Oh, I love
It's
that
it's
fucking
honestly this is kind of the golden age for inflation fetishists right now, because like there's just inflation
Oh,
everywhere.
shut oh, fucking goddamn it. Don't remind me. God fucking. I am aggro as always. With me, as always, is.
Am I supposed to say something?
Yes.
it sounded like you were gonna say my name. But yeah, but yeah,
if there's video.
I'm Sassy Viper. And welcome to the Juicing Room podcast.
I wish there was video. I did like a little presentation flare with my hand and like gesture to the fucking phone.
we are professionals here. We know how to start a podcast.
Oh yeah, fuck. Oh yeah. So it is Juicing Room Podcast episode 13.
Wait, no, hang on. I think 14. Actually.
14. 14.
Yeah.
I've been thinking. I've been very tired.
Aren't we all?
I'm supposed to get a sleep study done. I'm supposed to get a sleep study done, but the machine they sent me didn't work, and UPS was supposed to pick it up today, but they didn't because fuck. That's it. That's all it is. It's just fuck.
Just fuck. So what's new in your world right now?
I have a new job. I will not disclose where, just for my own safety, but I have a new job. Best I can say is that it is in security, for public or like a public institution. That's about it.
Oh, so you became a cop then?
That's the fun part. I only have to train like for a month with them. I'm not actually a cop. Like I can't be certified to do any cop-like things. I don't think I can make any arrests. So that's the fun thing.
You heard it here, folks. The feds have infiltrated this podcast. You're no longer safe.
I think it's funny because that I think it's the only job in the entire city that may not like have to work directly with the cops beyond like the small training thing. And I don't even think that's substantial. Because I learned from my buddy, he like tried to be a security guard and was for a short time. And I learned that like here you don't really like to become like a private detective or private security. You have to do like 1 month of training at best. And I like we were driving and I had to pull over. I was laughing so hard because that's terrifying. You just for like 1 month. So you just go to classes every Saturday. They just tell you just walk around the area, point a flashlight at places, call the cops on any children you see, and then go home. And like I guarantee that's all the classes. the security guards in my area are not.
So like you're not a cop, but like you're the awkward middleman between the people and the police.
Oh yeah, I have to facilitate things, but I can just not. I don't have to. I can just chill.
Yeah, don't like be
the most we have.
Don't be a narc. Don't be a narc.
I don't like being a narc. I think the most we have to do is walk the perimeter and then drive the perimeter, and that's really maybe watch the cameras. But like, who the fuck's gonna go to where I'm working at night? Like, why? Why would they if they weren't already trying to do something terrible that would rob people of their culture?
I mean, maybe they just want to see the rapidly inflating prices and get a massive hard on.
Oh well.
So in news regarding me, however, I have recently started a Patreon.
Oh, yeah, fucking talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I really wanted to I really wanted to start it recording this next episode after I got that all sorted out, so that I can promote it here. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but we generally tend to take a while between podcast episodes. So like I figured, okay, I'm gonna want to promote this, and if I'm not gonna promote it now, it's probably gonna be in like another 6 months or whatever.
It's good that you took some time. It's like I kind of spaced these episodes out for a reason so that we can work on them at our own pace and stuff, and we can schedule or do a backlog if we need to. Maybe re-record stuff if worst case scenario happens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it's good that you did because like I knew you were kind of excited for that for months now, isn't it?
Yeah. I still don't have a job, but at least I finally have like some source of income. Even if it's not much, it's still something,
Oh yeah.
and I am eternally grateful to the people who have already signed on, including you apparently.
Yes, I highly recommend 10 out of 10, 1100 out of 10. The great stuff.
But yeah,
All the great stuff.
so I'm thinking of potentially releasing at least one uh high quality exclusive, either a piece or a sequence, at least once a month, for my $5 a month patrons. And for $1, you can actually get early access to the free stuff that I post on Twitter and DeviantArt and all the other places I post stuff.
Oh yeah, pretty reasonably priced for like quality and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty reasonably priced because like there's like I'm glad you got this started and like maybe like more people would hop on and stuff.
Also, shout out to Candy Cane and Riddler Core who who helped collaborate with me on the first couple of exclusive sequences. The first one went up about a couple days ago, and I have 2 more in the pipeline for the next 2 months. So be on the lookout for that.
Well, yeah, I can't wait. I'm very excited to see what you do with all your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like you cover Blueberry. You already would you'd be posting like other giantess and kind of transformation stuff as well, right?
I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I will be. The thing about giantess and like size stuff in general is that it's much harder to. It's a little bit harder to do without some preparation. I think I've mentioned this before. Like I like doing a lot of size related content, but I also like to make it look as like realistic as humanly possible, and I can only do that if the participants are like really working with me on it, because there's a lot of planning.
You'd rather have like the way that I'd say it, you'd rather help like the photo shoot in question than like sort of describe it over text, like
yeah,
be
like
present for the shoot.
Yeah, like I'd rather have like the photo shoot tailor made for a giantess or shrinking sequence rather than like having to make one from whole cloth using just random images.
Which is fair. That's totally fair. Like that's reasonable. Like your stuff is awesome.
Thank you. Can I just say one thing that I have always wanted to do, but I haven't really had the means to do it because I don't really know who would be willing to do this, or like because there would be a lot of planning involved. I want to do like a shrinking berry sequence, kind of like the there was this one sequence made by I think her name is Harlequin on DeviantArt, where she did like sort of
Harlequin 151 I don't know.
Yeah, she did sort of a shrinking blueberry inflation sequence, and like I want it to look
so meta.
Yeah, where like she shrinks into a blueberry and then like somebody else picks her up and then eats her, and then like the cycle begins.
I think it's the same person, to be honest with you. I think it's the same character.
That's fucky.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I kind of want to do something like that, but like really show the process of them getting smaller and like having like a proper sense of scale in the room as they get both shorter and also rounder at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. It wouldn't be like an immediate thing like I've seen when people mix up the TV room and Blueberry.
Or like it's one and then the other, where like somebody either like shrinks and then becomes a blueberry, or becomes a blueberry and then shrinks. I love the combination of like getting bigger and swelling up while you're shrinking, because like it's like you kind of fill up faster that way.
Yeah, big, small.
Yeah, like a short stack almost.
Yeah, big, small.
big, small.
I would love, like, I'm sure there's a couple models you could reach out to. Hell, like even I'm sure popular ones of you, if you reached out to them, I'm sure they'd be willing to do it. You just have to, figure out stuff. I know there's quite a bit of demand for different people in that position, so there's plenty. Hell, I could probably point you in the direction of someone who are not on air. What the fuck am I talking about? We're not recording this live.
Yeah, I am also kind of strapped for cash at the moment. I checked my
No,
account.
I know.
I checked my account balance for the first time in months, and it was much lower than I thought it was gonna be. So like,
yeah, no,
I'm
get
gonna
that.
need to wait for my funds to sort of refill and actually get a proper job on top of that.
Hey, they don't need to explain it to me. I get it. I totally get it. Because I've been door dashing these past few fucking weeks while I've been like looking for jobs, and Christ alive, I almost took a assisted living job, and that stuff would drain you.
Oof.
Like I'd be able to do it. It's just draining. So no, I totally get it. It's hard looking for jobs in this fucking environment.
Yeah.
And then like, you have to factor in commute and stuff, and like, oh Jesus, gas is so much right now.
Here's this interesting invention that we've had for a while that could actually like really fix our car-based economy. Trains.
Is it soapbox time? Yes, trains. I like trains.
I love trains.
I like trains.
I like trains.
No, it's whatever. Like that. I'm glad you got a side hustle going, because that's always fun. Hell, it could even become your main hustle if you like. If somehow like it increases enough. I know a couple artists who've been able to do that. We've had an artist who's been able to do that.
I've visited the Patreons of like other content creators just to sort of get an idea of what I should do for mine, and like I've seen the kind of revenue some of those people pull in, and like it's oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Belt Pop is just like living large right now.
For me, what I've been doing lately, because I have to budget, so I have to figure out. I've been like figuring out whether or not I want to follow through with customs that I've got with certain models. One of which apparently is moving forward, which I'm really excited for, but will not disclose who. But like I've been like in the budgeting process, I've been thinking, do I want to follow people that I just want the content of, or do I want to follow people that I like actually enjoy the stuff of? And so I left a couple Patreons, and I joined yours, and I joined Faye's, because like Faye's, I know what kind of stuff she does, and it's stuff that's really creative. And the thing that got me hooked with the hot dog fairy she just recently released, that was one of the funniest things ever.
The condiment queen.
Oh god, so it's like, guys, fucking shout out to Faye DK. Her stuff like outside of Taylormadeclips is great, and she's always a good friend.
Friend of the show, Faye DK.
Yeah, unironic friend of the show, as opposed to whenever. But yeah, she's awesome. I highly recommend. So I've been sorting through that kind of stuff, and like, because I think what catalyzed that was like your Patreon. Like I looked at all the stuff I was a part of, and I'm like, do I really want to be subscribed to that? I'm like, no. Like I was like, fuck no. Jesus. I have OnlyFans stuff that I've been like, do I want to follow this person? And I was like, yep, I do. But it's whatever. It's that's how life is. You got a budget.
That's how it be.
And as gas prices have gone up, I've had to budget more.
That's capitalism, baby.
That's capitalism.
That's capitalism, and it's the bad kind of inflation.
Oh god!
That's just what I'm gonna keep. That's just what I'm gonna keep calling it from now on. Like inflation has just become too synonymous of a good thing in my mind that like when people talk about it in real life, it's like, oh wait, oh that's right, this is a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I fucking god, I bet you the Wonder Bread guys do.
Why gas numbers go up?
God. I looked at my like filling up my tank the last couple times, and I thought back to last year. The cost for filling my tank up an eighth maybe is the same as it cost to like fill it halfway last year, and that killed me.
Jesus,
that was how it was like I think I could fill it better in January.
Oh my god.
I was so pissed. Sassy, I was so fucking pissed.
Thanks, Putin.
Oh god. Gotta love it when the world is tense. Oh god.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
And you gotta love it when companies like feel like they can get away with like fucking price gouging everything.
Oh, it's so great. And we'll get to the heavy stuff though, because we called something.
Look, okay, I didn't say this to you, but like inflation isn't real. Much like the inflation that we talk about, economic inflation is not real. Here's the thing. We could just steal stuff.
I was out just fucking around between DoorDashes, and I seriously contemplated. I looked at something and I was like, fuck, do I? And I'm like, no, there's like 9 cameras to be fucked.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Because here's the thing, it's not theft, it's reclamation. The ruling class have been taking all of our... They've subjected us to wage theft for so long.
Oh god,
that if you go into a convenience store and steal a candy bar, like, it doesn't make a fucking difference.
But no, it's because like it's just so everything's so expensive. Like, fuck me, even like the most mundane shit. Again, we'll get to this in the heavy stuff segment. We have to.
Also for legal reasons, we're talking about a video game here.
In Minecraft.
Like, I love stealing things in GTA 5.
That reminds me. I used to be on like those PvP servers. I used to steal so much shit from people. It was so funny. I'd walk into a base where they had unsecured stuff, and like they didn't care for it because it was unsecured. So I just stole it. I was just like, "Oh, here's some fish. That's mine now."
Stealing, theft. I'm a sneaky poacher.
I'll steal it. No one will ever know. A fucking video, that dumbass. Oh, I love old cartoons. Anyway, so shall we get rolling in the fucking clip review?
Yeah, let's actually talk about some fucking blueberries.
Yeah, we're gonna get real positive, and then real not positive, and then positive again.
Buckle up. This is gonna be a doozy of an episode.
This is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
This is gonna fucking hurt. So looked at the poll last episode's poll, and I had up, I think, the previous couple of clips, Miley Moore and Irma, and then I added a Ziva Faye clip called 3 Stages, and it's a very personal point of view clip, sort of like, intimate experience. I think girlfriend experience is the proper term, but I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of a girlfriend experience kind of POV thing, and also it's Christmas themed, which I really appreciated.
Yes, it is holiday themed. It is Merry Crimbo. Happy Christmas. Christmas into laws.
Merry Cringemas to all.
So, what were your initial thoughts on it? Let's get those out of the way.
I liked the way this one was formatted. Like, I liked the sort of the clear stages of this sequence here. Like, I liked how, again, we started off in the first sequence. Like, it's kind of like a sort of a subtle transformation. You get like a little bit of belly chub there, and then like the second segment, it's like, okay, now it's like she's got an hourglass figure, a blue set of thunder thighs, and then the third sequence, it's just a full berry.
The second stage I have dubbed Randallization, simply because like the body shape that like that suit gets is like that fucking model Love Randall. So it's just like, all right, well,
Love Randallin?
Yeah, I love Randall. I guess Convergent Evolution. My thoughts on it are pretty standard. Like, Ziva's a really good actress. She's really sweet. But she's also she's spunky. That's something I think a lot of people like about her. Is like she's multidimensional in acting. She's sweet but spunky.
One could even call her sensational.
I don't know if that's a joke about something.
She says so she says sensational with the same frequency that what's her name from the last clip?
Helena.
That Helena says liquid in the last clip.
So much. No, it's very sweet clip. Ziva's very sweet and funny. I think a lot of people like her too because she reminds people of like because there's a lot of people who like the older clips from Taylormadeclips because they're fucking hard asses. And they prefer Holly a lot of the times because she did a couple of Blueberry clips that were very, very fun. She and Ziva have similar personalities, though Ziva is a little more on the spunky side. I follow her social media, and she's like really fucking work. She works all the time. Like, she roller skates and shit, all that stuff. She's cool as hell. The thing I like kind of is the way the paint is in the final stage, and kind of how they do the color change through like bottom up. Because I think the butt swells first, and it's or the swells second, but like the belly swells first. But it's a fluid expansion, so like they kind of pull that away in the second stage. But yeah, it's a very fun shape, very fun sound effect. The thing that kind of caught my attention more than sensation was the constant sloshing that she did, just grabbing it and just jiggling it.
The sloshing sound effects like can be a bit of a gamble. Like sometimes they really enhance the clip, and then other times they're just kind of distracting. Like, okay, I can definitely tell that this is a sound effect.
Sometimes I don't even think it's the sound effect itself. The suit, I've noticed just the latex, kind of like the latex little top whenever they have it on. They don't even have to add sloshing sounds. It's just the latex hitting the latex is just sounds like sloshing.
Mm-hmm.
Or they've just managed to sync it up so well that it sounds like it is. I remember seeing this clip for the first time ages ago. Now because it came out, I think pre-pandemic.
I assumed it was 2020 because that's what it said in the sort of splash mark at the bottom.
I think what happened was Taylor was waiting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it. It was that's early pandemic. I just fucking that hit me. God damn it. But no, it was early on, and it was about Christmas time when we thought we hit the lowest. So that was great. But no, I remember when that first came out. It was it was received very well. There was a lot of people who wanted it. Some people should have gotten it the way that you're supposed to, because if you want more, you got to pay for it. That's it. Again, like the outfits work. Like the initial dress is good for the belly inflation, and then the second outfit is really. I really like how they sort of used it to conceal everything, but like still worked with it.
Mm. Although I couldn't help but notice that the belly was not as visible in the second stage.
Yeah, that did kind of feel silly to me. That kind of felt like, oh, you could have just had a big old belly.
It would have been nice, but like I imagine having props on top of props is probably kind of a hassle to deal with. So like I'm not gonna mark it against.
Especially on a petite body, because Ziva's kind of tiny.
Yeah, I mean she wasn't tiny by the end.
No, she was fucking. I think the funniest things about these clips is when she gets like small models, how big the suit gets, and how like you can kind of tell they're really hedging on like not falling off.
Yeah, you told me that Helena was actually pretty tall, and yet she was still kind of struggling with that suit.
If I'm not mistaken, she has a couple different suits. If I'm not mistaken, though I could be. Please don't take my word as truth. I'm just trying to go back from what I remember. She has a couple different ones because she's like, different sizes of people, different sizes of models. She can't just have one, otherwise she has to narrow down her search. But she has like one that makes the small models look big. But I think that suit, the Helena suit, I don't know if that was before or after the initial Wonder Hussy pop. Fuck, I don't know. There's weird history with the suits because like it's complicated. It's weird. It is a fun clip too. It's a genuine like to give us sort of an outline because we've beat around the outline. Ziva is your girlfriend. It's a girlfriend experience point of view video. She's your girlfriend and she has a present, and so she's gonna let you guess she's gonna let you guess a bunch of times, and she'll give you like hints every stage of like expansion. And then the third stage is obviously full blueberry, but then like the first is like a fluid belly. So it's like a very sloshy looking belly. It's not a tight balloon. And then like the second is thigh and breast expansion and butt expansion, which leads to
proper hourglass.
Yes, and it's pristine. And Ziva makes it work. Because like those kinds of props will always like have some sort of like reality like return back. You have to play with the imagination.
Yeah,
but it works very well. She knows how to work what she's doing. And she's having a fun time. It's just how Ziva is. She just has fun. But she's very serious about her work. So don't just be a weirdo. And then like that's the whole clip, and it's very sweet. I tend to like the more sweeter clips. The dirty ones is like you can have like dirty talk and stuff in them, but I tend to like ones where there's not so much explicit stuff.
I'm the same. Like I like a lot of the more playful clips and a little less of the dirty ones. Part of it is just gender dysphoria, because I know like a lot of it involves the, just stroke your cock and I'll get bigger kind of thing. But like, yeah. I don't know. It's just, I like I feel like the sensory experience I get from that kind of a fantasy comes over the actual like sex part, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just like I can't watch regular stuff or stuff that's distributed out by most main studios because like hardcore stuff is just hard for me to process. Like more casual, more like softcore or more like fetish stuff is easier to go with, Yeah. It's just how it is. And this clip is very good at that. It's very good at like, Though I will say the point of view is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet.
He can't understand like oh my god. It got so annoying to a point where like, oh, you don't know what I'm doing? I'm dropping all of these hints. I'm turning into a blueberry. Like... You dumb fuck. Like I feel like my intelligence is being insulted because like I know what you're doing. Like you don't have to like pretend I'm dumb.
Oh yeah, no. There's after a certain point you have to either assume they're stupid or they're just fucking with Zevo. So there's like layers. It's like, oh, you gotta know it now. Nuh-uh, no, I don't know it. No. I want you to keep doing weird shit.
I don't have a thing in my head, Double D.
Jesus. No, I like I said, I like the paint. In this one, the face paint, the makeup and stuff. It's not.
I like the paint and the makeup. The actual like transition from regular skin to blue skin was I feel like that could have been handled better.
A lot of people I think a lot of people expect a color change a la either the original movie reimagining in 2005, and both of those require like extensive effects with multiple people working like at the same time. And like this is like one person, maybe two, all the time. There's maybe a makeup artist, maybe an assistant, though that all depends. And then there's like Taylor. So you have to coordinate. There's a difference between taking a photo and like doing the color change with like layering in some like real thin colored paper to get the 71 transition, and like doing that in like with live studio stuff. Anyone who wants to try and do a color change like they did in 2005. Be my fucking guest. You fucking try. You fucking try. We have like filters on Instagram that barely accomplish what they do.
I've seen some impressive filters though.
Those are filters for the face. You have to track whole body at some point.
Oh, okay. All right. You're talking specifically about like full body filters.
Yeah, you have to really work. Like it's if you're gonna have like the color change like that, you eventually do have to like color change the whole body, and then like on top of that, once they're fully changed, do you maintain it as an effect over the video, or do you transition to body paint and just hope that it works? It's like fuck me, that's always a mess. Like it's just it's whatever. You have to really think
sometimes the blending of like practical and digital effects is not always smooth.
But no, this one color change was weird, but I did like the makeup. I did like sometimes I would like to have like I'd love to see like blueberry-fied makeup where they have eyeshadow and lipstick, but sometimes just like casual stuff, like just it's just me the blue. That's nice. That's really nice and pleasant. I'm a simple man. I have simple tastes. Blue.
I like it when they're blue.
Oh, that can be interpreted so many weird ways too. Fuck. But no, that's really like it's a great clip. It's a nice clip. I would highly recommend. If you just want a nice little experience, a little personal, intimate thing, there's plenty of that in this clip.
Yeah. So how are we gonna rate this clip?
I guess I'll rate it 5 booty wiggles out of 5 because I'll just take that clip for. Because doesn't she like shake her booty in the thigh stage?
I'll give it 4.5 sensationals out of 5.
Alrighty, yeah, go get.
Buy your porn.
Oh yeah, please buy it. Like if you want to see more, if you want to do more, you have to pay for it. At the end of the day, like we can't get more of this stuff. We can't get improved versions of this stuff until like you can't get better models unless you pay for it. Like that's just how it is. you can try as you might to pirate it and say like, the stuff isn't improving. Well, of course it's not improving. You're not pirating from fucking Disney where they have a giant shield of infinite money. You're pirating from one person in one house. So just be mindful of that. You have to be mindful.
Pirate Obi-Wan. Don't pirate your BerryChicka.
Yeah, pirate Obi-Wan.
Anyway, I think we still have the Artist of the Week segment, so we don't have to like stall the heavy stuff just yet.
No, but like I'm dreading
it. I know.
Let's get into the Artist of the Week so that we can front load the shit with some positivity. But okay, so Artist of the Week. I don't know why we even say it's a week. This isn't a week.
Anybody who complains about the rate at which we upload these episodes, yeah, you're right. We know.
Oh, it's funny. It's like, could you imagine if this was a weekly podcast? I think we'd both end our lives. I think
we'd both be burned out if this was a weekly podcast.
I think not only would we be burnt out, I think we'd be bald. Just from yanking our hair out. It's like it's a week time. I couldn't do that.
Oh god.
We'd have to like
I can only say what the fuck OnlyFans so many times.
Oh god, yeah. So Artist of the Week, but like no, Artist of the Episode. Lagos. I don't know his full username off the top of my head.
Kell-of-Kinks, I think is his name on DeviantArt.
It is now Kell-of-Kinks.
Yeah.
He's a solid dude, and he makes some great Blueberry art. And now recently he's been doing a lot of linear content, is like how you would describe it, I guess, like story stuff. He's been doing that, but he's doing more quick stuff like black and white or monochrome stuff.
Yeah, he did like a whole Q&A segment with two of his OCs.
Yeah, his two mains, Lagos and Liv, Destiny OCs. There's a whole crop of artists, a whole crop of like digital artists who they kind of like spawned through interactions between their Destiny characters and stuff, you know, and that was very. I think him and Bard of Swells, and then like a couple others, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that Bard of Swells also has some Destiny OCs. I wonder what the connection is there. Is it a coincidence? Or...
They were just friends. That to my knowledge, they were just friends. But yeah, Lagos just did his stuff, and Bard did his stuff, and then like sometimes they'd have crossovers. But like he's real cool. I do like his Destiny stuff. I like whenever there's like just like more casual moments and like non-canon stuff because he has a canon and things, and I've done a couple of commissions for him. Do you have any favorite pieces?
I have a couple. A couple of them being ones that he either did for me or ones that were like directly inspired by my work. Because he actually did like last episode when we did the Circle Jerk and showed off all of our favorite pieces that we did. I showed off the one I did of Hitomi shrinking down into like a blueberry sundae.
Yeah.
He did one based off of that with his OCs.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember him actually showing me that, the homage thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like I guess it's not a fair comparison because, you know, one is like kind of emulating realism while the other one is clearly a drawing, but like I kind of like his version a bit more just because like that it has a bit more detail. Like it doesn't feel like a couple of JPEGs of chocolate syrup and whipped cream stacked on top of each other.
I've liked both of them, and I really liked his take on it because I think he didn't do Hitomi. I think he just had Liv in this.
Yeah, but the piece was still loosely based off of what I did with Hitomi.
Oh yeah, it was used as a base like that. I think when it's like a conscious effort too between two artists to like work off of each other's art. I wouldn't say art theft, but like it's not even just tracing. It's just sort of just like using it, but like not being mindful of how you're using it.
I mean, like, I've been getting into writing as of late, and, like, one of the biggest pieces of advice that people give, like, especially in, like, the genre writing community, is just steal everything and make it your own. And I feel like that's what he did here with some of my stuff.
Yeah. There's a difference between, like, you know, making it your own and, like, just blatant copy-paste, color shift. But, like, even then, art kind of builds off of that. A lot of his comms I've liked, a lot of the, you know, Q&A stuff. I really like his Blueberry stuff because it's got a sense of gravity, and you can like see very much over time his like increase in skill sets and stuff.
I'm looking at one of his more recent Blueberry pieces, like the one it's a shrinking inflation one, where Liv is shrunken down to like the size of a giant beach ball, and Lagos is just kind of lying on top of her like one. Like, I love the size play, and I also love I want to use a word other than tactility, but I love the
sensation.
I love the sensation. I like how he emulated the feeling of lying on like a giant yoga ball or like a beanbag, but it's a person.
Oh yeah, I remember we used to have a yoga ball in my house, and I kind of pretended that a couple of times with it before, just like, that's all I got out of it.
You kinky motherfucker.
Also the yoga ball was kind of shit. Another one of my favorites he's done is I have an ongoing series with my original characters called named after him, called Adeline Vereen, and he decided, he was like, I would like to make a cover because I enjoy the series, and he just made it. And like the coolest part about it to me is like there's like my main character, but then like all the different elements that are surrounding her. For example, some of the background elements, he nailed the college image I had in mind, and like for it, because it's based off of like an actual place that I've been to, but he nailed the iconography of it perfectly in that little image. And it just kind of, I was like, dude, how the fuck do you know? He's like, oh, it just felt good. Like, you're spying on me. And he's like, no, I just. And then there's like he posts different color tests, like he did fruit practice a couple times below that, and that was really cool. You know, he's done a lot of cool trades, a lot of cool berry stuff.
I did an art trade with him, and he was a really cool person to trade with. Like, he did an excellent he did an excellent piece of two of my OCs, Citrus Cindy and Valencia the Balloon Girl.
Yeah, that's a really good image. Yeah. Oh, I forgot he did a 3-part kaiju girl thing for me too. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. I highly recommend his gallery because it's really well done. He's really fun.
He's a talented dude.
Talented buckaroo. Buckaroo. I think the thing I like the most about it is not only that he's shown how like he's like layered upon the different things he's learned over time, but just his use of color. That's something that I really like that stands out about his work and stuff. There's a lot of times where the colors get repetitive in this like thing, you don't see it like become anything new, but since he's got a different setting and like specific idea of location and stuff, the color looks specific ways, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, he's awesome. Can you tell we're also trying to vamp from the next segment?
Yeah, we're trying to stall. We're like we don't want to get to the heavy stuff.
I don't want to talk about it because like when we planned this segment about a month before last week.
Stalling?
About a month.
So you think I'm stalling?
What is that from?
That's from SpongeBob.
Oh fuck! I think I remember. God,
I will not have you stalling this overturning of Roe v. Wade, Mindy.
Oh fucking Jesus! You just plowed right into it. Well, heavy stuff time. Transition go. Thud. Oh god, it's
thud.
Shit. Okay, so to give some backstory for the heavy stuff we were going to cover, Supreme Court. You know, the Supreme Court leaked memo because. Personally, I did feel it was going to go through, but I felt like it was going to be a long time. We wouldn't have a month. And how the ruling itself would affect other rulings, such as on porn and stuff. And then last week happened, and I shit myself.
Yeah, I think a lot of us kind of collectively shat ourselves.
Yeah, obviously, like I feel like that's just to be assumed at this point. They just keep coming up with more. It's like a printout. It's like a machine printing out bad things. It's like we try to unplug it, but it keeps doing it.
It's like the scene in Back to the Future 2 where Marty gets fired, and then there's this printer that just keeps printing copies of paper that say you're fired on them.
Read my
facts! No! Please, no, I cannot be fired! I'm fired! Ah!
So we conceptualized, because we're going to have a little discussion on like the little leaked memo, because like it was going to talk about how this is not protected under the assumption of privacy. You don't have a right to privacy in that original opinion, and that's what they sort of ruled for this. Now they made it up to the discretion of the states. Horrible idea, by the way. It's never worked out in a good favor. The last time we did something is and had the states decide it. We ended up killing all of ourselves. It was not a great
I was about to say, this country does not have a great history with, leaving things up to the states, if you catch my drift.
And sure, we've changed a lot since Roe passed or was, ruled. There's a lot of stuff that we can get into, but, I would like to get into how much this relates to, not just sexual liberation and sexual, because that's what this podcast is sort of, trying to do, trying to facilitate, consciously and healthily practicing fetish and stuff and such, but also the ramifications elsewhere that you guys might not even think of, because there's a lot of experiences that are kind of on the periphery in this discussion that I don't think a lot of people are considering,
Yeah, there are probably a lot of things that I'm not even considering right now, just because I don't want to consider them, because it's I like having my mental health in check.
Oh yeah, no, it's so let's define right to privacy. I don't know the legal parameters of it. I don't know what sort of the original ruling was. I probably should have done that research, but to my knowledge, there was just an assumption. There was just an assumption that you had a right to privacy guaranteed by certain protections within the Constitution and how it's interpreted. There's certain things that were. I know it's boring. We're gonna get to the fun stuff, but basically those protections,
quote unquote, fun.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. As fun as you can get with this shit. They protected the right to privacy, which means that you could, theoretically have gay marriage, gay sex, contraceptives, access to abortion, access to porn, and the ability to, do sex work without the state interfering or knowing, without entities, private or public or otherwise, interfering and retaliating. With the disregard of your right to privacy, you are no longer guaranteed protections to consume porn in specific capacities. Sex work is kind of on the table to be fought against.
And so wait, I have a question. So it's the people who want small government who are supporting this?
So I would like to get a history lesson if we're going to go down this path.
Oh,
this is going to become rapidly a Behind the Bastards episode, and that's a year too fast, if I'm going to be honest with you. Oh god, this is going to get even more boring. So I guess skip to this time code if you don't want it. But if you really want to learn how to protect your ability to consume sexual content and be open about your fetishes and stuff, you should probably listen to this. Essentially, a number of factors contributed to where we are now. This was not a sudden thing. I don't want any fucking person being this came out of the blue. They were saying this in 1973. They were going to repeal this the year it came out or whatever. A number of factors influenced it. There was the moral majority, which is back in the 60s and 70s. And that was just a bunch of politicians from the conservative end of the Christian religious voting bloc going we should probably create a voting bloc that protects the rich, wealthy capitalists that we propped up in the 30s that control all of religion. And the reason why that happened was because there were a bunch of Christians trying to get socialist and equitable and egalitarian policies put in place. Because if you actually read what Jesus Christ says, it's more aligned with social protection, social welfare, and socialist theory than it is capitalist theory. There's no way around it. Feeding the poor, caring for the masses, all that kind of stuff. That shit, the socialists, even Leo Tolstoy thought that.
Jesus was a comrade.
We could argue, it's hard. We can, do the historical academia thing and be but really, can we ascribe an ideology to this guy? Absolutely not. But come on, feed the poor, care for one another, respect and love your neighbor, peace and love, but also understand that there is violent oppression in the Roman Empire. Come on, there's room for discussion, sure, but there's there's also being sort of needlessly splitting hairs, and so there's a movement, and then to counter that movement, a bunch of people like Henry Ford and that decided to fund some preachers who believe that Jesus Christ should be a fucking capitalist, and that's what happened. That ramped up rapidly, and that's where you got a bunch of really hyper conservative Christian movements like the John Birch Society and all that. We're 2 steps away from Nazism. I'm not even going to sugarcoat them. They were fascists. They were named after a guy who I think tried to kill a bunch of trade unionists, if I'm not mistaken. He was an overt terrorist. This is settled fact. John Birch is a terrible person, and the John Birch Society housed a bunch of terrible people, and are adjacently related to Alex Jones. I found out. This is me doing a book report on the Behind the Bastards. I hate myself.
No, keep going. This is important. This is important stuff.
It is. So you have all that. You have all that. And the moral majority comes about. You have all these rich Christians who want to enforce a very specific interpretation of Christian theology that isn't really accurate to the actual like understandings of that kind of stuff. So they sort of like work together with the gun lobby that has recently come to power in the 1970s, which is thanks to Harlan Carter and like a bunch of other people, including the United States government. So this is like and you get all that, and they basically they super funded all that moral bullshit. Like I'm not even kidding, it's bullshit. Like Jesus Christ walked around with prostitutes. Like Mary Magdalene was and probably still did practice prostitution while she walked with Jesus. I'm not like they probably got food because she was doing stuff. And so they wanted to, because it was in retaliation to the sexual revolution, which is like a movement within feminist theories to allow women to be able to, have sex and like in the same capacities that men could do. Because there is a problem when like there is an unequal ability to pleasure oneself without risking destroying your body. Because pregnancy is a task to take on. I've been around a lot of people who've gotten pregnant, friends, family. Like you have to either be fucking ready with a support network or you are on your own. And it sucks. So there's the contraception stuff that had been developed because of Planned Parenthood. We can get all into the ethics of that. Margaret Sanger was not a great person, but over time it became more and more tied to revolutionary feminist ideals and less tied to eugenics. And like the conservative moral majority didn't like that. And while the moral majority failed, its ideology lived on through movements who then started attacking it, whittling away at it, questioning it, empowering Ronald Reagan to do bullshit. Gotta love when a fucking cowboy comes up in this discussion. By about the 90s to early 2000s, you saw a rapid increase in reactionary conservatism, which then led to movements that were like, everyone knows like the satanic panic. That is because of this stuff. Like, you can directly tie the satanic panic and that movement in Christianity to where we are. That happened, then like there was sort of an uptick of people being like, "Oh, let's generally be accepting," and then 2 planes hit fucking buildings in New York, and that all went backwards. We just became super nationalist, super Jesus heavy. We flew planes over stadiums because, of course, we could, and now it's seen as a tradition, even though you don't see it before 2001. That happened, and by the time we got to here, like that's because of the Tea Party and all that kind of shit. They got to power. It's not because we didn't have majority in Congress, because we did in 2010. We could have codified Roe v. Wade and various other protections that are only guaranteed by Supreme Court rulings in 2010. We've had 6 chances, if I'm not mistaken, and they did not do it.
6 chances over the course of 50 fucking years. One of those chances was last year. Biden had the Senate. He had the House. He could have done this shit last year, and we wouldn't even have to be discussing this now.
I could be getting wrong with the 6 number, but I know for certain, like, 2010, when I just learned, like, there were multiple times in the last couple decades at least that we've been able to like actively fight to codify it, and Democrats haven't done that. The complicated thing is like it's because of like really specific kinds of harmful bullshit. At the end of the day, it's not because of Christianity, because these people don't believe in Christianity; they believe in Christofascism. Like it is, they want to take away your rights because they want to create a theocracy. They do not want it's not small government for them. They can say it is, but at the end of the day, they're looking for small government.
It's not even about protecting fetuses for them, because like I'm just gonna say this right now. If we lived, okay, so say we lived like in like an ideal scenario where abortion was like at a net zero purely because people had easy access to comprehensive sex education and contraceptives. Like, that would be a failure state for these people. Like, because that's not their intended goal. Their intended goal is to control people.
It is like it's explicit. Like they want like they'll use coded language, but it is explicit. Here's the difference between what pro-life ideology and pro-choice is. I know a number of people who are Catholics. They're like, well, I don't like abortion, but I don't like what they're doing. They're like, I may be personally against abortion, and if I were in that instance, I would be against it. But in this specific scenario, this is not something you should enforce. This is a matter up to the personality of the temple that you're worshiping. This is a blurring of the lines of church and state and all that kind of bullshit. But really, it's not even church and state. Because when they say small government, like let's be real here, they don't mean small government. They mean to relegate it to the states. And when you look at how the states are like made up demographic-wise, that's a really fraught decision to make, because like Wyoming and Utah and Idaho, with very few people who are almost all really conservative, Idaho, full of problems. Even Washington, Washington and Oregon, even though they have liberal havens, outside of those havens, probably one of the like the state of like just look up the state of Jefferson. Like it's not a great thing.
I mean, California too.
People think California is liberal. It's probably a hard line between North and South California because that's how politics works. So it would fall along those lines demographic wise. They want to relegate it to the state's decision, and when you look at the state's opinions on those things, that is a very fraught decision to make. Like technically, Missouri had a trigger law, and I live in Missouri. I fucking hate that fact because like we are the state where we are defined by like mind your own fucking business. We won't like you can go on through, but just, we don't want to talk to you. But like this is like one of the things where state Republican monsters. Like it doesn't matter what kind of porn the governor like watches, but if you get an abortion, the state has to know. Like, I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that.
I live in misery.
That's a good way to put it. The good thing is about, like, where I live in Missouri, you can just take a walk maybe for, like, an hour and you're in Kansas where they still have abortions being done, though that could change because of ballots and whatnot and all this kind of stuff. So exert social pressure. Vote and also block traffic in Minecraft.
Voting is a useful thing to do. Like, I'm not gonna suggest that it's something that doesn't get shit done. But, like, if you think it's the only thing that's gonna get shit done, then you're a lost cause.
It relies on the presupposition that civility is at play, and it's clearly not. This will kill people.
It's clearly not. Absolutely not.
This will kill people. Like, make no mistake, there are some instances where abortion is totally necessary. I don't know how many of like y'all know this, and maybe you do. Maybe we finally rooted out all the people who would be opposed to this. I don't know, because I don't want people following here who are just like super really on par with the Supreme Court kind of pro-life.
You're welcome to disagree, but you know what? You're also welcome to eat my biologically feminine chode.
Yeah, but like there's something called an ectopic pregnancy, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a pregnancy that doesn't take place in the uterus; it takes place in the fallopian tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And that is lethal. That is like
100%
lethal. There's no saving it. There's no cutting it out. There's
no saving the fetus. There's no saving the mother. Like, you're not going to be saving anybody by denying somebody an abortion in that circumstance.
You will kill them.
You're just killing both.
It also isn't a religious position. It can be said to be a religious position. There are certainly like tenets of certain religions that say life begins at conception. But like this isn't a religious freedom thing. This is enforcing very specific tenets of specific Protestant and traditional like Catholic conservatism on the state of society. And like Jewish people, like who they read the Torah and stuff, they have like their perspectives on abortion. And one of those perspectives is if it will save the life of the mother, that is absolutely what we're taking. I believe that a majority of the time it's life begins at first breath for Jews. I don't know for certain. I'd have to ask a couple of my Jewish friends, but I believe that's the case. Honestly, if it's not you, who gives a shit? And like that's the whole underpinning of their argument. They give a shit because they want to control. They do not want to save people. That is not what they want to do. This is not saving anybody.
They will use like the idea of saving people as a cudgel to hide the fact that they just want to control people.
Like, make no mistake, this will kill people. There are many states where this access being limited has like it's not even extended towards having exceptions for distressing circumstances that if I say I'm afraid YouTube will ban the video for. They won't ban fascism, but they will ban the words I will say. And those distressing circumstances, if you're thinking of probably one of them, it's probably what you're thinking it is. Like there's no caveats in many states for those specific things that need protections. I guess I could say one like incest, like if it's through that, like there are a lot of states where protections for that are carved out. Like that's not good. That is deeply harmful. And like since it's like it relies on the right to privacy assumed by the Constitution, not through amendments but through sort of logic within amendments, this opens the door to repeal gay rights, gay abilities to have sex, interracial marriage, access to porn, access to like prostitution or like to whatever like porn involves. Like sex workers will be hurt by this. Purchasing porn, you won't be able to buy porn here. Like most of those companies will have to either move to Canada or like it will cause an entire global, I would say porn shortage, but there will never be a shortage of people making horny content. Imagine the supply lines for toilet paper and gas But now apply that to horny.
It's so odd. It's like, in one breath, these motherfuckers will go on about, like, the free market, and then, like, the next minute, it's like, oh, the free market isn't reflecting our wants and needs? Well, I guess, well, fuck you. Let's make all these laws to interfere with things that people want.
As much as we want. At the end of the day, there's no such thing as a free market, because there's always, like, the more capital you have in a space, the more influential you are, and the more you have the influence over how the market displays. That's not how things should be. I don't think Disney or like PepsiCo and Coca-Cola should be deciding what drinks and shows I watch because of how powerful they are. That's absurd, in my opinion. But, you know.
Says the Star Wars fanboy.
Yeah. I buy secondhand anyway, so it's just like, but, you know, it's you like this whole thing, like it will fuck all of us. So you guys have to be opposed to it. Like that's the line I draw in the sand. Is like, if like things keep going further, it's not like we can't wait 120 days for certain things. You have to go out, you know, in the streets, not just like shouting at their windows, but like being like exerting pressure, because like we can vote all we want, but at the end of the day, voting is.
Well, and it also doesn't help the fact that, you know, in several states, Republican politicians are actively trying to make it harder for people to vote.
Yeah, like, we're not the only fucked voting system in the world. We're not the only fucked Western voting system in the world. I mean, Britain exists, for God's sake. But, like...
if there are two things in this world that actually make me feel patriotic, and it is, one, dunking on the South, and two, not being British.
Oh, God. Fucking... Oh, yeah, because the voting system in Britain can be a little fucky. Like, we're not the only fucked, like, voting system, but, like, they're trying to do like voter ID laws. As a sociologist, which this is the one time I say this one per episode, the only people that voter ID laws target are poor individuals, and that also means sex workers. It also means poor working class folks. Like, I mean, like, this shit only affects
it also largely means people of color.
Yeah, like all this shit affects various like groups in like compounding capacities, and you have to be mindful of that. So we have to fight against that. Like, I'm not just saying, oh, like. We have to, you know, get ready to go put our ballots in. Sure, go put a ballot in. Like, I'm going to go vote too, but like, you have to exert pressure. Like, shit doesn't change without pressure, and like, voting's a type of pressure. There's also other types of pressure to apply as well. Like, you can,
like bricks.
Yeah, in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
It was like, because like at the end of the day, this will hurt everybody. It doesn't just stop at, you know, women trying to get abortions. Like, what if you want to buy a condom? Like, there's a Supreme Court decision that defines whether or not you can access condoms.
It's like they just don't want people to fuck.
Which, you know, if they don't want that, they should just say it. And I think part of it's because none of them.
Look, I'm sorry. Listen, Republicans, I'm sorry that you can't get any bitches, but that's not our fault. You don't need to take that out on us.
According to Madison Cawthorn, they do get bitches. It's just all the same. It's all of them. They're all of them. Like, the entire party's fucking each other. You can't tell me that Clarence Thomas fucks. You can't tell me that man has sex.
Ben Shapiro's wife would look at Clarence Thomas's wife and be like, God damn, it looks like this is Hera down there.
Quick side note, has there been an uptick in Abby Shapiro Berry art? There has been.
Oh,
and
God.
It's very uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable just how fucking horny people are for her. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, it's both simultaneously creepy, and it's also like, why are you horny for this awful person?
I'm gonna one-up you on this one. I don't get it. When I look at her, because like I see family resemblances way faster than I do like attractiveness, and when I see her, that's Ben eyebrows. That's Ben's eyes.
Well, okay, but keep in mind, Mara Wilson is also related to Ben Shapiro, and she does not look like him.
No, but she's like a cousin. That's like his sister. She's like a second cousin once removed. Like, you can't see it because Mara Wilson doesn't have whatever the fuck Ben has inside of it. Its closing statements on this is, we have to exert pressure. You know, vote when you can. And when you can't, like when there's still that time between, because there is a time between now and voting, be somewhere, exert pressure somewhere. Like, don't just write letters, walk up to places and say stuff. Like,
be a fucking pain in people's asses.
Yeah, like you don't have to do anything illegal. You can just be annoying. But like at the end of the day, it's like
for legal
you should
reasons, we
exert
are not
pressure.
suggesting you do this, but these are things you could do.
Yeah, and like you can like I remember there's a guy, and this isn't a politician, but it is kind of because Jeff Bezos. There's Jeff Bezos. He was going to a restaurant. And there's a guy who filmed him and just screamed, "Hey Jeff, what's it feel like to have blood on your hands?" Just like no chill, just ripping apart that ball.
No chill. Like no, these people
chill.
don't deserve chill. Like they are beyond chill at this point. You need to be the complete opposite of chill.
The thing is, like, the people in power are waiting for somebody to arbitrate and like decide that this isn't fair. The people who decide whether or not it isn't fair, and the people who are supposed to hold these like people accountable, make no mistake, are not just the people in power. It's us. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's us. So like, you have to act. We have to act. All of us have to act as an entity and exert pressure, or else we lose the horny, and possibly the whole world loses the horny. Like that's it. Like, and who knows? This may be a push by data companies and like companies like Facebook. So maybe delete your Facebook account as well.
Uh,
But like, no,
I mean, like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like it's an easy and convenient way to stay in contact with some of my friends, and I also have some shit posting groups. It's like I get it, Facebook sucks, but like, it's hard.
Oh, I know, but I can get shit posts anywhere. That's my philosophy. I can make mine. Just guys, like, we have to do something, and we can't just wait. You have to like. I remember like driving. I was door dashing because like, I need money, and lining both sides of the road were a bunch of pro-choice advocates just on the sides of the road that are like one of the main roads, and that was really cool. Like you can do something as simple as that, or you can be more elaborate. Go crazy, but don't really. I'm not endorsing anything one way or the other. Just please, like, help out because you will be on the cutting board. All of us will be.
Also,
like,
if you happen to live in a state where abortion has been outlawed, and
we'll have links to the abortion fund like stuff too.
Yeah,
and you organizations.
And you're looking for someone who is like really looking to go camping.
Don't do that. No, I'm gonna stop this right now. Just for safety reasons, do not advertise that you're going camping. That will be weaponized immediately. Like that.
All right, okay.
That
I guess they've already been clued in onto that particular dog whistle.
No, like it's not even. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's not even just like that's like they've been clued into that. It's like when you post publicly about that, they learn the strategy. They make bait posts and then they arrest people. Like there's actual networks for this with protections and stuff. Like, don't say you're going camping somewhere. Like, sign those networks and get people in that direction, and fight like hell to keep them protected. Like at the end of the day, it's not just like we shouldn't all like you can dish out your own like vigilante superhero fantasy all you want, but like that is like we have to work together. We can't all be Batman, Superman on our own. We have to Justice League this shit. We have to Justice League it.
I don't want to be Batman anyway. Like he could solve all of Gotham's problems with like a snap of his finger, and he just doesn't.
I mean, we can debate this, but that's nerd shit, and we got an interview to follow this up. What a fucking thing to jump off of.
Yeah, what a fucking thing to jump off of. But like,
we recorded this before the fucking memo came out too.
Yeah, so this
we're so much happier.
We were so much happier back then. I want to go back to the past. The past was good.
Gotta get back to the past. Please let me back.
The past was on fire, but it wasn't quite as on fire.
Yeah, the ice we skate was getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. We need to go back. Please let us back.
We need to go back and play the shit games that suck ass.
But yeah, no, we're getting to an interview portion. We recorded this before the memo came out, so that's why we sound a lot happier. And it's with BerryChicka. It's very fun. We hope you guys enjoy. And then we'll see you afterwards with news and fizzy and uplifting to close you out.
Hell yeah.
And welcome to the interview portion of the Juicing Room. I'm Aggro. With me is Sassy Viper, special guest today.
Oh, BerryChicka.
Yeah.
Sorry,
cool.
You kind of like lagged there for a second.
No, it's fine. It happens. So how are you today? How has everything been? Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. First of all, no, I've had a pretty fun day. Put out some applications, did some interviews, and now I'm here.
Yeah, cool.
What a fun day. 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 What some photo stuff for tonight, but other than that, just seemed kind of chill.
Having employment troubles as well, I see.
Let's just say that a certain coffee shop is not as fun to work for anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I've been trying to find a job relevant to my degree, and it's not easy.
Oh, that's the mood.
I've been trying to find a job relevant to my skills, and a lot of what I do in this community is not included on my resume.
Yeah, anytime there's like a portion on like an application, like, oh, do you have any like social media presence? And I'm just like, kind of.
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
If I said it, you probably would not want me.
Pretty much.
It's such a it like, especially like if it's like, what skills do you have, and you like have to list them, and they're like, oh, can you provide examples of portfolio? Like, you have to make an entire fake portfolio if you want to show anybody anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, you'll have to forgive my voice right now. I'm kind of recovering from really bad cold. Not COVID, I promise, but I'm dealing with it.
That's fair.
Well, as long as you're wearing a mask in our presence, we should be fine.
A metaphorical.
Yes, everyone knows COVID transmits over flying cheese towers.
I mean, that's why we got the shot.
Oh. Yeah, have you guys tried sticking a spoon to your arm yet? The fucking apparent magic thing it's supposed to do?
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, people. Oh my god, I'm so glad. Okay, slight tangent. Apparently, people think the shot makes you magnetic, and they've been sticking spoons to their arm.
Oh my god.
People are insane. I love it. Anyways, so yeah. Oh, where do we start? Sassy, you want to ask the first question?
So I mean, I guess sort of just a general question that we ask all of our guests. What got you involved in all of this bullshit? Like, what got you involved in this weird ass community?
Well, it actually started as something I was terrified of when I was a little girl. So it was just like, ooh, it was like a gut punch when I first saw it, and then like I became obsessed with it. It was like kind of used over me to like stay in line and be good and stuff, and that became kind of an obsession. And then when I hit puberty, it turned into something else.
Yeah, it always metamorphizes. It catalyzes right around then. Very few people know this, but there's a third side of the force. Instead of fear leading to anger, fear leads to intrigue, and then it goes weird from there.
I mean, like,
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I remember I was terrified of aliens as a kid. Now I want to fuck them.
Oh, who doesn't? That's just normal, right?
I mean, I assume.
I
feel like such an outlier here, because like the only thing I have that is clowns, and that's it. So I'm still scared of clowns.
So I assume the thing that you're talking about is the Willy Wonka scene from the 1971 movie.
Yes, I was being a little vague. I do have roommates, so.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, fair. To be fair, they do. Okay, most of them know, and actually, most of them are actually going to help me with my OnlyFans stuff.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But there's one or two that like I want to like have I want to keep it on the DL with, but.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. You never know who you gotta be safe.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful.
But so you mentioned that it was like being like held over your head or something. Like, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, hey, you better do your chores, or you can't throw a fit or be a brat, or you know what will happen. Same thing will happen as it did with that.
We'll send you to the fucking Wonka factory.
Right?
We'll fuck your parents.
So your parents did that? So your parents helped reinforce that?
Pretty much.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's upsetting.
That is wow.
To further elaborate on your previous comment, trauma leads to horniness.
That's
oh god.
Isn't that a fact of life?
Fear leads to trauma. Trauma leads to horniness. Horniness leads to the kinkiest life ever. There it is. Welcome to the kink side, motherfuckers.
Fear leads to trauma. Trauma leads to horny.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's so okay. Oh, my
Fear
parents
is the path
never
to the dark
could have done
side.
that. Okay. Oh God. Oh, well.
Yeah, pretty much.
What I mean, so we know how you got into this community. So what exactly got you started as a content creator? Like, what incentivized you to start pursuing OnlyFans blueberry content?
Good lord. So I like to pride myself as a pioneer in that
Yeah,
particular
fair.
aspect. I do believe I was actually the first.
Some of the very you're like
For at least
definitely among the first.
I remember seeing you pop up in Opic Ort stuff and like Lord Ultra stuff way back. So like,
oh yeah,
we're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
a far reach.
Yeah, it started honestly as like a need to see myself in this particular state. So
Yep.
like I would do like selfies and I would like post them in like chats, Discord. Heck, I think it goes far as back as like bodyinflation.org.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, probably. Like if you weren't like if it wasn't X Blue, it was probably Body Inflation.
It was definitely X Blue. I was part of
okay,
X Blue.
so you're way back there.
Way back.
Dang.
I didn't post content back then because I was just at the age, but still young enough for it would have been creepy, you know?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
nothing illegal, but still. I was very careful, or at least I tried to be.
Yep.
That's fair.
It got to a point where I'm just like, hey, I'm just doing all this free shit and people seem to like it. What if I try to expand?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Right? No, I mean, well, the way that I figure is like it's not about the money necessarily. Like it's more about like being able to do cool stuff. And I got a lot of really cool ideas that I would like to do. For example, I'm a huge tokusatsu fan.
Oh fuck yes.
Yeah, I love like Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, and I also like horror movies.
Ooh,
I think
yes.
partially because of the fandom, but
yeah, that's fair.
there's a lot of body horror stuff out there. But I eventually want to
Slither.
Slither was huge. Also, oh my gosh, what was it? It was it Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror?
Oh god, oh that just dredged up a core memory.
I feel like this should be ringing a bell. Could you elaborate on that?
Caviar.
Yeah, I thought it was beans, but I think it was caviar.
It made me it was caviar. It made me that turned me off of caviar, not because of like the gory end, but because it's just like there was so much of it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of farting too in that scene.
Oh god, Jesus, that was
I am completely lost.
I don't want to spoil it, so you should
no,
just
it's
like
so nuts.
just Google. You'll know the keywords.
I'll throw it in here. In here, probably with inverted colors.
Okay. Like to get back to like the point, I want to eventually like do something like that, like a very B horror movie, but that is like I have this like character in mind that is like this tokusatsu heroine, but like whenever like a bad transformation or something happens, like she comes in and it's kind of like the Oompa Loompa of like a horror movie sort of a thing. Like, oh, this person is coming in to fight this creature.
Interesting.
Who doesn't realize that this was a person.
Oh no.
Oh my.
And then she has to like deal with that at the end with that reveal.
Dark
because
side.
she always gets there late. So like anytime that you like see like the mist roll in and then like this like tokusatsu hero showing up to like defeat this monster or to show up, like, you know, oh no, the victim's a goner.
Monsters? They look like monsters to you?
Monsters? They look like monsters to you?
If I could like get like the special effects, like eventually it would like cartoonize to the point of like, have you ever seen Hellraiser? Like the later Hellraisers?
I've been meaning to watch those movies.
it would eventually like distort in the same way like a Cenobite would be.
Actually, you bringing up your wildest ideas of things to make actually leads into one of my other questions. If money wasn't a factor, what would be a dream project of yours?
That exactly. I would love to do that. That's what I'm like kind of working toward. That's why I'm kind of like
Creating.
trying to get this money thing going on. Like, because if honestly,
Yeah.
if I could like do this full time and like pool resources together, like I would just do nothing but make content like this.
It'd be fun because like
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I remember you somewhat talking about this ages ago. I think with me, and it's like it's such an easy concept to execute if you like have the skills and know-how of what to do. Like tokusatsu cinema is like it's very easy to put together with the right like stuff. You can find anybody can find a construction site or rent like a lot like for a backdrop. You can like fog machines aren't too expensive. Like it's not too bad. The biggest expense would probably be the effects, which I'm sure you could do some.
Yeah, shout out to anybody that can do special effects or has a camera.
I'm at least part of the way there. I have a camera, but like outside of still
That'd be a
images, I can't.
journey.
Outside of still
Right.
images, I can't make people into blueberries.
See, the things that I know that for a fact what they did with like old tokusatsu cinema is they would like just paint on the effects on the film or something. So I'm sure there could be something similar to that with like a frame by frame animation with like overlaying the film. That's
That would be
speculation.
probably
Like,
just as expensive though, honestly. Like animation.
oh yeah, it probably would
That's
be.
pricey
And
shit.
very time consuming.
Oh yeah.
Like going in just frame by frame, like yeah.
Yeah, on that note, I actually have the helmet and the design for the heroine. And I'm actually getting an actual helmet made too.
Oh shit.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna ask what they looked like or something like that. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you want me to,
Yeah,
I'll
of
send
course,
that to you if you want
absolutely.
to edit it in.
Like
Yeah.
and like if you can't send it now, like through the Discord so that we can look at it, could you describe what it looks like?
Yeah, it's very kind of like not to like get people like on like a Christian Panic sort of thing, but it's like very like demonic in theme because I always liked the idea of there was a story. I can't remember if it's an actual official story from the Aladdin book, like
Yeah.
Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, but there was a story that I remember specifically of basically this fisherman casting his net out and pulling out a lamp, and then like, oh, there's a bunch of seaweed and stuff on it, so like they rub it and out comes this djinn, and the djinn isn't like what you would think a Disney genie would be like. He was pretty mean and pretty powerful.
Yeah, like a demon. It's
Yeah.
what a djinn
Yeah,
is.
and something really struck with me, like, cause like the djinn was just like this super big and imposing figure, but the fisherman is just like, nah, I don't believe you. And like the djinn's like, what? Don't believe what?
Bitch, I literally
Nah,
just came out of this lamp.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and then like the fisherman was just like, I don't believe that they actually fit into that lamp. And
And
he's
he
just like,
goes back
oh
in
well,
the
I'll
lamp.
show you. And like actually goes back. He goes back in the lamp, and then the fisherman sits on it, and like there's like a struggle, and then finally the djinn like sort of like gives up, and it's just like, oh, fine. If you let me out, we'll figure something out. I'll tell you what. I won't give you 3 wishes automatically, but if you agree to make like this deal with me, and you guess my name correctly, then I will grant you those 3 wishes. But if you get them wrong, you're going to let me out, or I'm going to get out eventually, and then I'll kill you in the worst possible way that I can think of.
Why not?
And so there are a bunch of these stories that are being told, and like within the stories are hints of the djinn's actual name.
My name is Jeff.
So what I like this idea of something similar happening to this like woman maybe centuries ago. And like whenever they give them the wish, they're just like, okay, I wish I had the power to turn the tables on creatures like you.
Ooh.
And I always thought that was really cool.
Ooh.
Like I always wanted to like see like Freddy Krueger or something like try to like haunt someone and then it turn around into this like hero fight, which kind of happens in one of them until they get ripped to
The
shreds.
truth is, you're trapped in this dream with me.
Right, exactly. And I kind of wanted to do something like that, and then I got the idea like, oh, I bet I could add some of our fandom to this.
Oh,
And then
probably.
I was like, okay, so what if like what's happening is like these group of like teenagers or college students or something hear about this like special abandoned town that after a certain like time, like at like 12 a.m. or something, it turns into this dark carnival, and like there are a bunch of these like demons and stuff, and they like transform people. And I was just like thinking, oh,
let's go fight them.
This would be really cool if we reflected that like the powers that this girl from like centuries ago or whatever got are the same, like come from the same source of whatever runs this town. So like the idea is like she has these almost tiefling like horns affixed to like her helmet, dark purples, big flowy cape, sort of a Green Ranger / Dragon Ranger sort of shield
that sounds
that they wear.
You really thought this through.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the
I mean,
picture.
if you can't find it, don't worry about it. You can send it later. It's just that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but that shit's expensive.
That kind of stuff always fascinates me because like we have these kinds of very interesting projects just sort of conceptualized and like historically it's been a chore to get them like off the ground because like the community itself is like very tight with its purse strings, kind of paranoid or kind of unsure, skeptical, and like there's good reason for that. Everyone should know the history by now, and if they don't, I can recount it, but I don't want to right now. It's just sort of like it's fascinating to like see all these concepts and like I want to see them executed. I want to see like this tokusatsu spooky carnival gin kind of thing stuff get off the ground because it's very like with the right skills and the right like collection of talents it can happen. That thing can get off the ground. Like I think now we're starting to see that stuff kind of open up broadly and become less skeptical with stuff like Blueberry Anthology MAXGROWTH is doing. I forgot the name. Juiced
Legacy.
Is it?
Juiced
like Legacy. Blue? That's it. No, it's Juiced Legacy. But like it's like MAXGROWTH. Yeah. We need more of these collaborative projects like Bloomf and stuff, and like it's very interesting. Like if you couldn't start with video form stuff like that, would you be willing to like do a stylized photographic comic for like a collaboration like that?
Oh, I would love to. Like if like, whatever medium.
I could absolutely see like if the video stuff would take more time, you could definitely set up like a photo shoot and then sort of insert yourself into different settings and like stylize it.
Or another idea. I mean, a lot of this kind of reminds me of the kind of stuff that Kinky Utterances do with their audio 100%. Their audio projects. Like I feel like if you were to pitch this idea to them, like they would probably be on board with it.
Yeah, if you got the hookup for contacting them, I would totally be down for it.
I mean, they've been on the show before.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I'm sure I could
dope.
something that I could send. I could point you their direction.
Oh, and also, like, let me just say, like, as someone who suffers from crippling social anxiety, like, being on this podcast and just being in this community in general has helped me sort of work through it. I haven't really... Most of the people in this community are very, very friendly. They're willing to listen to people. They're willing to collaborate. Like, it's really not as hard as it might seem, just sort of reaching out to somebody in the community and saying, hey, I have this idea. Would you like to collaborate on this?
Yeah, and you actually meet a lot of really cool people. Like, I got to... I don't want to, like, name drop or anything like that, but, like, I get to, like, talk to Doc Swell. Like, it's really cool.
That's incredible.
One of the biggest hurdles I think people have is thinking that, like, these popular artists with, like, thousands of favorites on their art are these untouchable gods or these untouchable, like, super beings or, like, they're savants. And, like, one of the biggest, like, sort of cultural shocks getting popular making stuff is like realizing, oh no, they're just people. They enjoy stuff the same as I do. They like when they like hear feedback and stuff. Like it's totally like reasonable and easy to like do this kind of stuff. It's the initial leap is hard. I think more people need to understand that like we're not all just magical super beings that are just floating aloft in the clouds waiting for somebody to come into our court and like self-flagellate. We're like,
I mean, speak for yourself.
listen. But like no, no, just Sassy sitting on a throne that's 2,000 feet tall. Oh my god. But no, it's just like people get that hurdle and they don't know how to overcome it, and it's just it's crazy. Like I really want like people to start engaging more, collaborating more, working together, and just like sort of like using the proper channels and being like the kind of proper kind of person, or like be nice, but like reach out. People are there.
Yeah, I agree. Like, once again, there's so many cool people that I've met and I've gotten to know, but like it's also like the same with like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Like that really helped my social anxiety.
Oh yeah.
I started DMing like 2 years ago, and it's just like made me so much more confident when it comes to things. Like especially like off the cuff descriptions. It's even helped my writing.
I would not be able to DM for the life of me. Like my social anxiety is just too bad, and just having to keep track of that many things is just off the charts.
Still like I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, it's fine. It's unrelated. Like it's sort of like it's related, but like it's an offshoot.
Well, what I was gonna say is like I want to eventually get like a bunch of artists and people together and us have like a Berry themed or Wonka themed or whatever like D&D campaign for us to like live stream or whatever. I think it'd be fun.
I'd love to do that.
You messaged me about this earlier. I am totally down for that.
Critical Swole.
The Critical Swole.
Critical Swole. Oh my gosh, we gotta get on it.
We would that'd be infringing on a trademark though. That's way too close. So no.
It's
like we can't call it that.
Intellectually distinct, I think, is the legal term.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's too close.
It might be too close.
But I would love to do that kind of stuff, do that kind of theming, and just general game streams like that, just collaborative stuff with artists and people. Like it's fun to do that kind of stuff. It's like collaborative projects are nuts in their scale and like in their coordination, but when they come together very well.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So how much goes into? So obviously. The main thing you do is OnlyFans. Like, how much really goes into maintaining that?
Honestly, lately I've been kind of, I've not been too great on keeping up because like I've gone through a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna really talk about it here, but I am slowly easing back into it. I usually just like think about something that I would like, something that like. An idea that like I think is cute or something like that, or at least within my means of creating, and then I'll do that. I recently got like a couple of really cute outfits. They are blue. I also have a red belt. You put the two together.
Pattern recognition, brain go brrr.
I'm sorry, I need some help putting this together. What does blue outfit, red belt mean?
It means Aunt May dies. I'm sorry, spoiler.
I remember like when that scene happened, like I was just like, oh my god.
How has nobody?
People in the community are gonna freak.
There are two different types of trauma for this. For the world with regards to blue suits and red belts, and I cannot stress enough how fucked that is. Oh, there's an account on Instagram that literally their entire conceptualization was, and I cannot stress enough, that scene. Like they just came about because that outfit. Oh well, time to fucking lose our mind over it.
Oh my god.
Even though,
but I haven't seen hardly any content, and that surprises me. It's just like, what? They're handing you this on like a silver platter.
And it's a shame because like Marissa Tomei would make a great Blueberry.
Oh, for sure.
God.
She is gorgeous.
I know.
See, the weird thing is, like, I was like, she's nice. And then I saw her in My Cousin Vinny, and now, like, okay, now I'm totally on board, which is fucking insane. That's
Oh my
never
god,
worked for me.
I saw that movie too. Like, God, she aged like wine.
Oh, God. Blueberry wine.
Blueberry wine.
Oh, God.
I want to be that hot when I'm older.
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
got it.
That reminds me, the Fansly stuff and OnlyFans stuff reminds me, like, what would be your ideal, like, schedule for posting things, or what would be your ideal, like, method, like posting cycle, I should say. There is weird terminology for this.
Yeah, when I first started, I was posting every single day, but that just wasn't sustainable. So
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no. I think honestly, like, I would like to start doing Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. For new content.
End of the week swelling, yeah.
Yeah, end of the week, sort of winding down.
Winding down and swelling up.
Exactly. No, because it is like a stress reliever for me, and it also, like, I don't mean to, like, be super weird about it, but it's, like, very empowering too, because, like, I feel
are
more
not the only person to say that.
Yeah, like, I feel more, like, secure in myself and my body image lately, because it's just like, oh, well, they don't care if I get fat. In fact, they want me to. So.
I don't have to do the chores anymore, Mom. I'm already a blueberry.
Oh
like, I've seen that kind of thing be sort of, like, I wouldn't say universal, but be a consistent through line in terms of, like, at least adults who are into this stuff. Like, I've seen that as a consistent through line. Like, people find it empowering, or people find it very, like, emboldening and self-affirming. Like, I've been able to talk to a large number of people, and, like, there's the insecurity, the vulnerability of it. Like, when you've been able to explore it and confidently be a part of it and participate in it, like, that changes things. It makes it a little more comfortable.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that's not to say I'm like not taking care of myself. I am still taking care of myself, and I'm not making poor choices. It's just like I don't have that stress of, like, oh, I have to be like this razor thin model. And that's really cool, because I've always been a big girl, so it's nice to, like, finally get that, because, like, I don't know, it's a whole thing.
It does
big girls
help
are
that,
in.
like, there's a lot of I mean, it does help that there's a big movement towards body positivity. Like, like, looking back on a lot of media from, like, the early 2000s to, like, the early 2010s, like, being thin was not just it was, like, unhealthily, like, scarily thin diet culture bullshit. And, like, seeing people push back on that is really fucking exciting.
Well, and also, like, there was the sort of the mocking of fatness at the time, inadvertently giving people fat fetishes.
Oh God, yeah.
Disney Channel.
Because, like,
kind of,
like,
did it for me.
It's not just, like, it's not just, like, with fetishism thing. It's, like, it's a whole broad stroke thing. Like it catalyzed because people, like, started liking these things, and then they were faced with the reality that it wasn't common to be larger. And, like, people probably would ask why. And some people went down dark paths that we don't talk about because they're terrible individuals. And some people were like, hey, this is bullshit. People shouldn't have to be, like, rail thin if they don't want to be. They shouldn't have to sustain, like, a lifestyle that is supposed to seem healthy but is actually tearing them from the inside.
You don't need to be rail thin. No. Just be railed.
Hey, I also do bimbo content on my OnlyFans, so, like, sure.
Oh God, yeah. There's a lot of, I think the 2010s and 2020s are pushing back on a lot of stuff that was, like, mocked during the 2000s.
Well, it's just 90s. Sometimes fun to just sort of, like, at the end of the week after you've, like, thought and
turn brain off.
Yeah, just turn brain off and be sexy. It's fun.
Head empty, belly full.
It's truly fascinating how things have changed, and, like, how people are, like, developing in their own interests. But yeah, so, shall we move on to the next question?
Sure.
I mean, I guess it's a little bit, it's another, like, OnlyFans related thing. Like, how does, I know you've been on sites like, you have OnlyFans. It's sort of a popular site for people for sex workers and fetish content creators. But then there are other sites like Fansly, which you also appear to be a part of. Like, how does that compare?
I haven't really got to use Fansly much. Like, I haven't really committed to the move yet. I eventually do want to reserve Fansly for, like, the explicit stuff and, like, continue to do the fun, teasy stuff on OF.
Okay.
But
yeah, because OnlyFans seems to be getting a little stringent.
Yeah, it's getting really weird. It really is. Like,
Gwen Adora posted that they're against lactation.
What?
Yeah, it's getting right.
Like, that's just like, I mean, like, okay, yeah, some people see that as sexual, but that's not even an inherently sexual thing. It's like, how are you supposed to feed? How are you supposed to feed the babies?
Yeah, no, and that's a huge problem that I have.
With Nestle approved formula.
Is that shit? Oh yeah, with Nestle approved formula.
OnlyFans is that weird site to me. Like, as much as I love a lot of the content creators who are on that, it's very clearly like trying to hedge the bet between like catering to adult creators while also like catering towards the demographic that is like looking at sex workers as mindless people who cannot fend for themselves.
What the fuck, OnlyFans?
Yeah, and there's this like resurgence of this like puritanical bullshit that's happening. Like,
fuck! Don't get me started.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
It's very pearl clutchy vibes happening in OF right now.
Oh yeah, and don't even get me started on like trans people and LGBTQ people like just automatically being labeled as pedophiles just for simply telling children that they exist.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty cringe.
The thing that pisses me off the most is like, the most harmful people aren't the ones that are out and about loudly and proudly saying it. The most harmful people are the ones repeating talking points from those loud and about hateful people in earnest because they don't understand that it's propaganda.
Exactly.
Like, they don't understand that it is harmful. Like, they're like, I'm deeply worried about like young people not understanding they're being propagandized to, and that there are propagandistic statistics about sex workers that are used by evangelical organizations to straight up lie and perpetuate harm against sex workers. Like, I'm talking like oh god.
Yeah, and that's going to cause some serious internalized issue. And honestly, like, to what you're saying, Sassy, like, I do think that this is like, we need to be very supportive and open to LGBT content creators at this point, because it does feel like it's a very delicate situation that's happening right now. Like, it does seem like they are trying to erase people.
They are. And like, I mean, for this community in particular, it's like, they're the backbone of communities like this.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
It's frustrating because like I can't count the amount of times I've seen people who are about maybe 2 years younger than me. I'm 23, who are 2 years younger than me, just straight up, if they were like an evangelical, it would sound exactly the same, but be 10 times worse. But they're just like, well, actually, I'm like a progressive, this kind of person. Like, I cannot stress enough, what you are saying is so uninformed about like the rights and the liberation of sex workers that you are going to cause more harm than good. And people with platforms, people with like thousands of followers saying this kind of shit. It's so frustrating because I'm like, every time.
Especially when they try to delegitimize like it as an actual job, like it's so easy, and it's just like, dog, it's not. You got people that have to like market themselves 24/7.
I want anyone who thinks it's easy to right now get horny on command, ejaculate, and do it 6 more times in a row. Do it. Like, you can't.
It's like that meme. Oh, sex work isn't real work. My brother in Christ, you made the economic situation in which sex sells.
My brother in Christ. Like that, it's so infuriating because, like, I'm devoutly religious. Like, one of Jesus Christ's followers was a sex worker, and like, there's no evidence saying that she didn't stop. She probably still continued because living in Rome during that time was shitty. Like, there's no reason for anyone to be against sex workers that is in any way founded on a religious context. Like, this is only evangelical puritanical bullshit. It's only fucking people who have no fucking concept of what they're doing beyond like this general savior complex kind of bullshit. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Go off, Queen.
I don't know, and like I've seen people like infantilize sex workers. I've accidentally done that. Like I won't deny I've been a fucking idiot. You know, ignorance is not unique to one side, but like being able to learn and grow is something that I take pride in, and I want people to be able to build off. Please, for the love of God, if you're going to talk about sex workers, talk to a fucking sex worker. Oh,
exactly.
Like it's so like they're everywhere. It's so easy.
So do we want to like lighten the mood a little bit? Because I have some more fun questions to sort of end on.
Yes.
So what's your preferred role in inflation or size or transformation scenarios?
I have to, like, this is, I don't know what it says about me, but I have to be the victim. Like, I can't really be the, like, inflator or whatever you would call it. Like, it just doesn't do it for me.
No, it's fair.
I think it's just because I'm like a theater nerd, so I have to have the attention on me at all times.
I feel ya.
I was gonna say it's for the drama.
Yeah, for the drama.
Drama. Yeah, you know, like, and like, do you like? Does that change with different scenarios? Like, say, or is it universal with like from Bimbo to Blueberry? Is it like you're like there's never really an assertive like super dominant one?
No, it just doesn't do it for me. Like
that's fair.
I'm sorry, I'm a bottom, so as the kids say.
Bottoms, baby. That's interesting because for me, like, I always like, I mean, I've always felt like kind of a switch in general, but like for inflation or transformation scenarios, like I always felt like the inflator. And it wasn't until recently that I really kind of did some soul searching and felt like, oh, maybe I do like to get inflated. Maybe there is some appeal in just
every once in a while, yeah,
being round as shit and like being embarrassed and like mocked for being round as shit, you know?
Being round as shit. my sister in Christ, you are round as shit.
I am round as shit.
Oh,
yeah.
That's gonna be the episode title.
Are there any kinks like you want to get into but haven't found the time, or have you been able to dive into everything that you want? Like, have you gotten the factory, or are you still exploring the rooms in like metaphorical terms?
Well, I'm trying to get a new computer because I do want to also stream like playing video games and shit like that. Like I do want to expand. Right. I want to expand beyond you know the kingdom or whatever. And
pure kink and like do just sort of fun stuff.
Well, I used to stream a long time ago, like for this like streaming. I don't even want to call it like a company because it wasn't like an official thing, but it was like a
collective. I'd say collective then.
Collective.
Because like that's how art is sometimes.
Yeah, and we actually got to do a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of good. Like I streamed for them during a charity once. My computer crapped out. But
computers are reliable.
Oh my gosh, I was playing the what was it? It was like Doom, but it was Noah's Ark.
Oh my god.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I fucking know that one.
Yeah.
It's a Wolfenstein mod.
And I'm a preacher's girl, so like it was like hilarious to me. I'm not religious anymore.
I don't know how you could look at a game like Doom or Wolfenstein where the bad guys are Nazis and demons and be like, that's not a Christian game.
It's because most of the people in my congregation are also Nazis.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I guess you did not see that coming.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Feel good.
So I guess my final question, and we could kind of do this this is just sort of a fun one to wrap things up. If you were a permaberry, would you rather be like constantly spherical or like regularly juiced? Like you could you sort of maintain a mobile form for like a certain amount of time, but you'd eventually need to be juiced again.
I have a follow-up for this, kind of related to it, so it's not the final question. I have a follow-up now.
To address that, there are positives, in my opinion, to both the permaberry. Like I wouldn't have to do fucking shit anymore, and that would be fucking dope.
God, not having to work and just be around.
The downside is I couldn't play video games anymore. That would suck.
I mean, the Switch.
Switch games, I could just like, just tilt my hands inward. But look, I do like the idea of like having to, on occasion, like have to like be like reduced and shit. Like I wrote something a long time ago called Berry. It's on my DA under like drafts or something. And the concept was like even after choosing, like emotions can trigger an outbreak and various things.
That is one of my favorite headcanons, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stress, emotions, just.
Yeah, love that shit. So I think it'll be the second.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking.
Especially
dope.
with like it making you as shapely as it is.
It's like you could go like within like a certain span of time. It's like you could go from like a twig to like super thick.
See, now I don't believe. Like, my canon is that, like, once you're juiced, like, you never go back to your starting size.
Actually,
like,
yeah, that's fair.
You can only squeeze so much out of a girl, okay?
You only squeeze so much out. Yeah.
Oh, that's not a euphemism at all.
Once you fill up with juice the first time, it's like you've got enough of it in you that you're still going to be, like, thick for the rest of your life no matter what.
Yeah, like, I've always, like, even thought to the point where, like almost midway of, like, the swelling, like, maybe, like, right before... or right after even Bell Pop.
Oh, really?
Not like Ultra SSBBW, but like around SSBBW to BBW.
Yeah. Very, very
as a
shapely.
size reference.
Or even like very still globular, but still able to walk and shit. And then
that would be fun to see in the store. That would just be fun as shit.
If you keep pushing off like juicing, like, and you keep getting like to the round state, like the size gets bigger and bigger each time. Like your starting point changes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I would also like it. That kind of reminds me when you were saying that kind of reminded me of the Sonic running out of air sound, the like song, the intensity and like, and then like if you get you can't put it off for too long or you're stuck forever. At which point it's like you just only get bigger and there's no small, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like
that would be an interesting.
It's like the point of no return. It just becomes a self-sustaining feedback loop.
Yeah.
You get bigger and bigger and bigger until you're just round as shit.
Yeah.
That is the subtitle of this episode: round as shit.
I think I already pointed that out.
I also like the idea of like if you just let the juice sit, like it eventually turns to jam, and then if you let that
or like
sit,
pulp, yeah.
Yeah, it like just turns into like fruity flesh.
And it's like
second favorite headcanon right there.
Yeah, like instead of fat, you're just filled with like blueberry pulp.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was like one of my favorite things like was I was talking to Weeblord once, like just like casually. I don't talk to them frequently. I was just like, "Hey, love your work. You ever thought about this?" And then they wrote a story based off of like you like when you get fully juiced, like you still have all that pulp left over and you just turn into a giant like fruit block.
Oh man, Weeblord. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
A long time.
Now follow up for that one, for that question. This final question. If you were to be a bimbo permanently, what would your bimbo aesthetic be?
Oh my gosh.
Because there's goth, there's scene, there's punk, there's classic or retro bimbo, 80s bimbo. Like there's so many. You could think of a regular aesthetic and then think of a pink lollipop version. That's fucking bimbo.
Yeah, pink lollipop definitely suits my aesthetic, but like specifically like definitely pinup sort of style.
Ooh. So like, oh, that's fucking nice. I like that. That's a good one. Have you ever? Oh, that actually. Have you ever like considered doing like berry bimbo stuff too? Like I think you have.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna start marrying. I'm starting to marry those ideas and more stuff. I don't know exactly how to go about it. I'm always open to suggestions, but I am trying to do that. I do think there's a real future for me to do that.
I'm just imagining like a scenario where like the blueberry juice like just exclusively goes to like the tits and the ass and like the lips. Yeah. So like all of that is juicy and like yeah.
I think that's good, as long as eventually there's a round like stage, because
the way that you can like adapt Bimbo to different aesthetics is like you can have that expansion. You can also have like you can like sort of pastel color the outfits, like so instead of like or you can like intensify the colors. Because like the thing with Bimbo is like it's supposed to be like eye catching or bright, like attention grabbing. Right. So like take all of the stuff that gets people like real fucking horny for blueberries sentence of the year and like just take them up to 11, like you get really puffy cheeks, or like the curves swell, eventually you get to a massive round state, but like it's much more like horniness taken to 11.
Yeah, and I also like the idea that like the juice has a play in that like horniness, and then like it also like changes the mind to be more dumb.
The saturation of the mind,
Yeah.
There are so many. Like I would love to, like one day on the podcast, cover the different headcanons in the community, because like we just made up stuff and it became part of the thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blueberries do not have tits.
My brain is swollen and juicy, just like the rest of my body.
Shout out to my boy Maxwell. I think it was like the next logical conclusion, honestly. Adding.
Yeah, especially when you like consider horny teenagers or horny like young people. It's like boob. Boob.
Just put tits on everything. Make it a fetish.
Oh yeah. Oh god. That just makes me think of SCP. God damn it. I just forgot about the giant tit thing.
What?
Oh, I don't want to get into it. SCP is so fucked. There's so many weird SCPs. We're not going to get into it. We don't have time.
I dabble a little in SCPs. Like I dabble in things like the back rooms and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Just to give you a short summation, there is an SCP that is just a massive semblance of tits, and like not just human tits, all tits.
That is not the one I thought you were going to talk about.
That's some Eldritch horror.
There's more.
Well, no, I thought I heard somewhere that there was like an SCP that was like, it was like a glass of milk or something that like really sort of like made people lactate and have their boobs grow. Like even if they were a dude,
familiar.
It's like
that sounds like every DeviantArt story ever.
That sounds familiar. There's also a vibrator that has like 11 settings, and like the highest setting. The highest, they found it after it was used at the highest setting, and there was just a puddle of a person in a crater.
Oh, that's hot.
I can't find this particular device. Just asking for a friend.
Oh well, if you go to
sometimes you want to have a good time and then not be perceived.
not be perceived, become liquid.
You're right.
Rendered into nothing. Oh well, it was fun. This was fun.
This was.
Where can everybody find you? Where people be able to like find your profiles and stuff?
So you can find me on Twitter at /BerryChicka in the number 1. Not the hashtag one, just one. And then you can also find me on OnlyFans, just /BerryChicka, BerryChicka. I can't. Oh man, my brain. That's
slowly
the
turning into a bimbo.
The bimbo's starting.
Oh no!
No!
Oh my god!
No, it's the where bimbo. But yeah, it was fun talking to you. Thanks for coming on. Any parting words before we go as well beyond Pluckables?
I mean, fuck. Be kind to people. Don't be a dick. Yeah.
Be excellent to each other.
And welcome back from that wonderful interview. Isn't BerryChicka sweet? How do you think that went, Sassy?
I was so happy then.
God, I forgot we were doing the bleak bit.
For a minute, I was still happy.
Real doomer hours here.
Oh God, yeah. So let's get in. I don't want to make.
Let's talk about the news. I'm sure that'll make us feel happier.
Yeah, blueberry news. So there's a creator named
PoppyKoch.
She makes mostly
belly content.
She made a boba berry video with an ambiguous message for all you people who like being dark, but also all you people who like being light. That was very nice. Then, like, and that clip, by the way, by Poppy is really well done. She's phenomenal at what she does. OnlyFans.
What the fuck, OnlyFans?
They, for some reason, have banned lactation? Why?
Why lactation's... Like, okay, yeah, it's... People have a fetish for it, but, like, it's not a sexual thing. Like,
it's OnlyFans,
the baby's gotta feed.
It's also OnlyFans, though.
Like, this is really where they draw the line? I don't understand. What the fuck, OnlyFans?
I can excuse extreme gonzo pet play, but I draw the line at milk leaking out of titties.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's like I can excuse mustaches, but I draw the line at having all 5 fingers.
What kind of comparison is that? I mean, it makes about as much sense as OnlyFans banning lactation, that's for sure.
Yes, it does. To round it all out.
Round.
I posted this on Twitter, I think a couple months ago, but it seems to have gotten a resurgence. People keep still liking it, but there is a TikTok that was made that involves blueberry inflation, and it's very funny, it's very cute, it's very brief, and the only reason I found it was because I decided to practice some of my Japanese by looking up different things in Japanese, and one of the things I looked up was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and my favorite characters from it. And there's some interesting, like, circle of like people who cosplayed with characters in like Japan, done little dances and makeup stuff. But the one that stuck out was that little video. I posted it. I'll link to it to Twitter because it's really cute and it's very sweet. And it's very funny, and like the people involved in it are really like they know what they're making, and like it's really campy. It's like a Vine in terms of its effects, so it's not like a perfect thing. So don't expect like super sexy stuff, but it's cute because it's not even supposed to be sexy, so don't make it that way. But it's charming, and I like that kind of charming stuff.
It's just kind of a goofy thing.
Yeah, it is. It's very because like by the end of it, they're both just like sort of screaming. And it's not like a scream. It's like a ah 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 ah.
It's like it's like a B movie scream.
Oh yeah. It's very funny. The color change is very well done too. So they really put they put some work into After Effects. But overall, well done. That's all the news I can think of.
That's all the news. No more news here. We covered everything.
I'll also cut away to the TikTok just to have fun with it because it's a cute video.
Mm-hmm.
ラッキーガム落ちてる。え、食べんの？だって封開いてないし。美味しい。さきちゃん、花。え？どんどん紫色になってる。え？え？え？え？え？え？え？なんで？え？え？
But so let's round out with some uplifting stuff. We need this.
I'm feeling very light right now. I feel like I could just float. I'm also feeling very fizzy as well.
In this little segment, we're covering lost inflation media. Lost media with regards to blueberry size, transformation, that kind of stuff. So there's quite a lot of it, shockingly enough. I'm trying to think where I should start. Let's start with the times in which lost media has been found. In a previous episode, we interviewed BerryChicka. You remember that, Sassy, don't you?
I remember that.
Before she went by BerryChicka, she was Vicky. And for years, I knew a couple of people were looking for the content. And I remembered seeing it once I saw images of it, because she reposted the 4 videos she put but I remember that, and so it went from lost media to found media. And lost media is anything that's media that once existed but now location. Another example of lost media is there was a dwarf artist by the name of Ilomer. Ilomer? I don't remember.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah, she was a lesbian blueberry inflation enthusiast, I think, if I'm not mistaken, who posted just a bunch of like Instagram models with altered curves and very dark blue.
I think you still need to like talk a bit louder.
Yeah, she was prolific and stuff, and then like she just vanished. I think it's just because of mental health stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head, but she just vanished. And like she had a lot of art, a lot of like celebrity art, a lot of like Instagram model art, and it's just gone now. I decided to try and look for it, and it's not there. Trying to think of what else. Oh, we talked about one earlier in the episode. Metal Bambi, Frank Conti, Hannah's Blueberry Nut is it's taken off of most major platforms because it kept getting reported by people. It's technically still around, but it's only lost because you can't access it, or like if you have it, you got a golden egg, basically. So it's just it's kind of shitty, It's lost media. Like there's trying to think of what else to say. I'm trying to think of what else to say because there's so much to cover that like I'm drawing blanks because like now I'm on the spot. Bambi Blaze.
Bambi Blaze.
How to forget Bambi?
Like Bambi I don't know if she really counts as lost media because they still see her clips in circulation. It's just that she does not make content anymore.
Yes, but also she had multiple sites.
Mm.
She had her regular site, which pretty much every clip from that site has been braided around, to my knowledge. So that could be not true. There could be some that is missing. I'm sure there is. But like she shut that down. But she also owned a couple other places. She worked with a couple other places that had a lot of media. Like Expansion Mansion might have had her, although I think she was just a contributor. And there's just a bunch of stuff in there, like comics she did, that are no longer there. Which were like really interesting, charming little B comic books with like superheroes and stuff and all that kind of stuff. Shit, what else? I should have come more prepared, but I completely blanked. There's artists whose content has just disappeared. Very Big Booty or whatever. There's a couple of his images that are just gone. Pairboy, a bunch of his stuff gone. He's still around, but like just stuff is gone. Like he doesn't even have it. I went through some of my old stuff that I had saved and like, oh, I have some of his old work. I need to give that to him. And there's just there's images that are lost. There's images that like probably for the best of things because sometimes they're lost because like it's not just inappropriate, it's like unethical to make this. There are just some people who don't understand like you shouldn't make underage art. And it's only lost media because it was like removed for explicit stuff. Like there is an artist who got one of his things removed because he used the head of a Vistus Floop on an image, and he threw a massive like fit because it was reported. And I was just like, it's a child,
like
man.
Just don't morph children.
Don't do it.
Like even like I even say this about like because I still see manipulations like based on the 05 scene all the time, and it's just like I know you morphed an adult head onto this body, but it's still I don't know.
If you are going to use it, it's a reference. It's not something you should use as a base anymore. Hell, I think I took down a lot of the work that I had tied with it when I was in my early morphing days when I still did that. And then okay, there is. I'm trying to think of what else. There's like a lost.
I mean, I personally have a couple of pieces that
you do.
I removed.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, because
I do have lost media.
Yeah, I have lost media of my own. Most of it is just kind of. So I mean, most of it like it wasn't like super. I don't know how unethical it really was, but like I personally didn't feel okay with.
You felt icky.
I felt icky about morphing, doing photomorphs of celebrities, and having like boobs superimposed onto them. Like
which is
naked boobs.
Fair, totally fair. It's your preference. You're the artist. I have some of those images saved, by the way, so they're not lost. But like they're not lost. They're just not present anymore.
Yeah, because like I just felt kind of icky doing that, and
which is fair.
Yeah,
especially with some of the popping.
Actually, I was kind of proud of that Alexandra Daddario one.
That was a good one. I liked your Selena Gomez one. Like you, I think you made a whole new body at a certain point for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very good. But, icky. If you feel icky, no one should make you do something you don't want to do.
Like there's a reason. Bad. There's a reason that most of my work nowadays, like especially because I'm on Patreon, and I'm actually kind of getting paid to do some of this stuff. Like a lot of it is like fake faces. A lot of it is counterfeit faces using FaceApp. There's no real person being associated with this image without their consent. It's
there's no huge risk.
Yes, so it's like there's no harm, no foul, essentially.
And I will say, at a certain threshold, you are a public figure, so that is kind of fair game. When it comes to TikTokers, guys, side note, when it comes to TikTokers, should be careful.
Same with Instagram models. Like anybody who is internet famous is like, it's kind of questionable as to that's
Alyssa Violet. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. She's popular enough. Like she's a public figure. Like, but like, howdy y'all. From TikTok, she already has body image issues.
Exactly. Like
she's the problem. She's been through shit, guys. Let's not do this.
Like here's the thing. I follow some people. Like I follow a couple of morph artists on Instagram who morph different. Who either morph or at least do like color changes of like BBW models, and they're generally okay with it.
Like Udon Soup.
Udon Soup, yeah.
He asks permission and says if you want it taken, take it too, which is a good caveat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just gonna dig your heels into the ground and say, "Hey, I'm not going to take this down because like fair game," like, are you prepared to go to court?
Yeah,
you will lose. You got to be careful with that, and like, but like lost media. Getting back to it is like, excuse me. I'm trying to think of some. Like, I know there's some it's been lost, and it's probably good riddance for that because of that stuff. There's also stuff that's lost because dude, I had one. Triple B Lovers is probably the best example of lost media with the most tragic story behind it.
Hey guys, I'm about to make a weird editor's note, but the story I'm about to tell in the podcast is kind of sad. It's also not true. The artist sort of explains what happened, but I didn't know this at the time. Sassy didn't know this at the time. When we recorded this artist hadn't even made their new account yet. We recorded this back around late spring, early summer. They posted or made their new account in July. There was like no possible way we could have known this. Like the distance was at least a month between when we recorded this and when they made their new account. They detail what happened. They detail pretty much how they came to make the decision they did and what they did and all that, and how they've grown as a person. And I implore you guys to like support them and show them love and like be understanding. Don't be shitty. If I find out any of you are shitty to this person because like you followed the link from this podcast, I'll kill you. Like, don't be mean to this person. They've already been through a lot. Just know going into this, the story I'm telling is a story I don't know is not true, and I won't know is not true until around July, August. So like, it's weird. It's all weird all around. Just know that this kind of sad part, there's an uplifting element to this. I don't know this, but this person is alive, and I'm really sad about somebody who's alive. So like, just know that going into this. Okay, we good? Thank you.
I will not post the images themselves. I'll probably, if I'm going to be honest with you, them because I plan on doing something with social media, for my own stuff, my own project. But like, Triple B Lovers was a prolific expansion artist. He had a very distinctive style. I think Red Fire Dog is the closest person who kind of mimics it. He did a bunch of 3D model stuff, and he had a lot of plans for the future. I know he did a couple fan arts of Sid Kid and whatnot. And I went back through my archive and just stuff, and I found some of his stuff. and then I looked up, and then like I remember what happened to Triple B lovers. This is sad, so kind of brace yourself. It's not as uplifting as I'd like it to be.
This has just been kind of a bleak episode all around.
Well, the world's kind of bleak, so we kind of got to vent it. But like, Triple B lovers, if I'm not mistaken, got into a car accident and passed away.
Oh,
and
fuck!
His buddy got onto his DeviantArt page saying, "You have 3 days to download whatever you want from this game, and it's gone." Like gone, and it will not be reposted anymore. Nothing. Either that or he died of cancer. And like that fucking hit like a ton of bricks, because like I think I talked to him. Like if I didn't talk to him, I like left comments and he replied, and that's really like, you know, you don't realize how much you touch a person until they're gone. And like you're like, oh shit, you know, how much you've interacted, how much like time you've spent. It hit like a ton of bricks. Like there's that, and then there's people who've quit because they felt like they've been hurt, and I don't blame them. They've been through a lot. Like I think Yellow, like I said, quit because of mental health. And there's just some people who just fuck off. They don't want to do it anymore.
There's some people
who
don't.
Misty stuff for winning.
Well, and then there are some people who like, I mean, kind of like we brought up like in an episode like a while ago, like the whole situation with Arcanus and how she kind of faced some harassment as a result of.
Okay, so I should probably clarify that. She's lost media too.
I mean, she's still doing stuff now, but she's not doing any more like transformation or inflation stuff anymore.
Yeah, I think I talked to her about that, by the way. And
oh, really?
I'm not exactly certain harassment was the thing that made her leave. I think she just wanted to do something else.
Okay.
Like, because like she started when she was really young, like not like, you know, this is dubious. More like she was just like, you know, 18 to 21, and she was like, I want to do different things, get myself out there. And so she would, you know, do stock for different things, and then Love and Rap did something, and then, you know, other artists, and then like she's like, all right, guys, I'm gonna do this. Can you take this down? I want to do other stuff. And like I think a lot of people was like, oh, it's harassment. That might have been a factor, but also like, you know, she wanted to go and do cosplay. She does cosplay. I follow her cosplay.
Oh yeah, cool. She does great cosplay.
Don't harass her for it. Don't harass her. If I find out a single one of you went from this podcast to go and like finds her, and then like harasses her for that stuff, I will personally come through your computer and choke you out of mine.
just crawl out like the fucking Ring Girl and just strangle you.
Yeah, or Scarlet Witch from the Gong. Oh, just lots of like, oh yeah, that noise. That just fucking no, just that's lost because she was like, I'd like to move on from this. Paige Elliott. This is a more uplifting one.
Like, not to be confused with Elliot Page.
Yeah, that's funny actually. But Paige Elliott, I need to find her stuff. I know I did one drawing, and I think there's another thing there too. Paige Elliott was a BBW model on Tumblr. Very sweet, very engaging. She was very up and coming, and she wanted to make Blueberry Club. And then she posted a bunch of content, and then just one day she was gone, and it was just like, it's kind of melancholy, but you're also like, that's interesting. Like that's just how time passes. It's like walking by a building that you knew was there for many days. You're like, I intend to go there, and then you like go back to the building. You've assigned this certain thing, and it's just boarded up and it's gone. You're like, oh, shit. Like that's what it's like to go to those haunting pages. But, like, you know, and like I said, I drew on one of her pictures. Like I referenced it for like a giantess like kaiju picture, and like I think she reposted. She really liked it. But yeah, no, like there's that. Like there's tons of lost media. Like if you guys really want to talk about it, I would encourage it in the comments. Look up your like Blueberry lost media, and like, you know, just like look for stuff, but also like understand that some stuff is lost because it's lost, and like sometimes it's lost because people don't want it to be there. Don't bring it back up. And some people, it's lost because they just don't know when to stop, you know, and they run themselves dry. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
So kind of somber episode, kind of bleak. Overall, there's a lot, like people are discovering lost media all the time, you know, just lost stuff. So don't be too discouraged if like you've lost something and you can't find it. It will be back. It will always be back. You know.
And if it's not back,
I mean,
just maybe accept the fact that the person who made it probably didn't want it to come back.
Fucking make your own.
Yeah.
Like do that. Like I think one of the things that inspired me to write, and this is going to get kind of really weird, was I was like 8 or 10. I was real young, and I was exploring the internet. I was looking for trauma and chocolate factory stuff, and I stumbled across a role play forum. Not like a kinky role play, but just like a general like role play forum for the characters. And I read an exchange that was really beautiful and very interesting. And I was like, I need to come back here. And when I finally did, it was closed. The whole forum was closed.
Oof.
All of it. And I was like, oh my God. But the site was still up, like the login and stuff. And I was like, and so I kept like hoping and hoping. It was gone by. Like, it's gone by now. Pro Board shut it down. But I remember going there all the time and just like, looking for it, remembering. And it was from the memories of that story I wrote my first story based off of what I remember from that game, from that whole thing. And then from there, I just elaborated and made my own stories. Like, lost media, even if it's gone forever, will inspire you to do some crazy shit. Don't get discouraged by this stuff. Think of it as a means of, like, remembrance.
Indeed. Again, like,
yeah,
as I said before, like, the best artists always steal shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally just me stealing interaction between people.
Mm.
I think one of the things was
Wonka soap.
That was the funniest part. There was a lot of interesting stuff from that interaction. I could probably recount it in another episode, but like swimming down the chocolate river, Wonka soap removing the blueberry pigment, entering the gates. Like it's the reason. Like, it's the reason why I conceptualize a lot of the characters that I do the way I do. Whenever I like rewrite them 10 years later, because I have my own fanfiction stuff. Like, it inspires you to write. So, well, what's some lost media that you know about? What's some stuff that I refreshed your mind about, y'all?
Comment below.
Give us engagement. I do read all the comments though. I do. I tend to respond to them, and like, if they're bad, if they're like really rude, or if they're just like, if they, like a spam comment, I may, disregard them. But generally speaking, most people are pretty civil. Don't be a dick and like comment below what your favorite part of this episode was. This bleak, vamp-filled episode. And comment below any inflation media you can think, transformation, whatever. I'm not very tied to the transformation community, so that would be nice to know as well, because I'm sure there's some there. Anyways, you have anything else to add, Sassy, or are we just going to round up and back?
I think we can round things out. Just put a laugh track there.
Yeah, I guess. Want to plug our pluggables? We both got shit to promote, I guess.
Yeah.
And you got your Patreon.
You can follow me. I'm Sassy Viper on DeviantArt, on Twitter, on Instagram, and I now have a Patreon as well. So if you want to, if you want to support my work, if you want to see some exclusive content, just sign up for $5 a month, and you'll be set for life, baby.
Both of which links will both be in the link tree and in the description if it can fit. It will fit though. I will make it. And then I am now a technical game dev. I've made a little twine game, like role playing game that I intend to build off. It's mostly centered around weight game. So I'll link that as well. And I plan on making more stuff. So who knows? Maybe collaborations are in the future. I don't know. I haven't had any plans, but hope you all enjoy that. Please follow Sassy's content. It's phenomenal. Like, I cannot wait to see some of the stuff that she has planned, and also like, and like even there's stuff that I don't know she has planned. I just know, you're gonna make more stuff, so I'm excited.
It's a surprise.
I'm excited to see my friend's stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see my friend's stuff in my Patreon feed.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
But instead of spilt milk, it's just It's just a video of Juicy Berry.
It's
Ziva
Faye saying sensational.
Sensational.
You may be an open book, SpongeBob, but I'm a bit more complicated than that. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Shit. I figured out how we can do this. I just need a speech bubble PNG. I need to dye it green, and I need to work. I don't know what I was gonna do if I wasn't gonna work. Fuck me. But yeah, no, it's. You guys have a good day. Hopefully, it isn't as bleak in the future by the time this episode comes out. Who knows? We could be in a rampant civil conflict by the end of this, or we could be in a utopia because aliens have invaded for some reason. This was the line. Not Fallujah, not Syria, no abortion.
Not Spec Ops.
They're like, hold on. That'd be funny. The aliens, that's their line. But yeah, you guys have a good day. And we'll see you in the next episode 15, the big 1-5.
Bye-bye.
Got a lot planned for that one. Bye.